Shake hands with the official and each other. Interestingly enough, since Suzhou, they've played each other 3 times in major competition, and it's in fact Xu who has the upper hand. He's actually 2-1 up. He beat Ma Long in the Korean and Japanese Opens back-to-back in 2016, last year, hence the 2-1 record. So the players now back to their coachless corners. Must be a great feeling for the Chinese support staff and the head coach. They're 2 players in the semi-final, so they let them get on with it themselves. Our 2 officials, they've done a super job throughout this tournament. Not easy to maintain the situation on the table during the match. A few complications around service rules and interpretation of them, but have to say they've done a super job across the whole team. And it's Xu who's first out to the table. Delighted to be joined in the commentary box by Jill Hammersley-Parker, former European champion, 3 times winner of the European Top 12 and many open tournaments, then enjoyed an illustrious career as a coach of the England team and Team GB at the Olympic Games, 3 Olympics, as well as numerous World Championships, and now of course the president of Table Tennis England. How do you see this semi-final going, Jill?
Well, these 2 players must know each other's game inside out. As you say, Ma Long, seeded 1, number 1 in the world, are playing against Xu, world rank number 3. So let's hope we see some great rallies in this first semi-final.
So the players will have a 2-minute pre-match practice, just to get the shots back in the groove, just get the feet moving gently. Ma Long there with his own racket, obviously likes to look at himself. Picture of himself on the bottom of the blade. Xu straight away, you can see left-handed player, pen-hold grip player, but there's Ma Long, world ranked number 1, 28 years of age. Was first ranked number 1 in the world in January 2010, and indeed between the last World Individual Championships in Suzhou 2015, he's been number 1 throughout the whole period. The International Table Tennis Federation release a ranking list every month, and Ma Long has been number 1 for 57 editions of that ranking list, so that equates to 57 months as number 1 in the world. But there's Xu, former number 1 himself for 16 months, and most recently number 1 back in February 2015. Retained his men's doubles title here in Dusseldorf with Fan Shendong. Was a member of the Chinese team that won a gold medal in Rio, and you can see there a good example how he uses the reverse side of his backhand. Quite a new innovation, Jill, where the pen-hold grip players of years ago used to use one side of the racket only, but of course now they use both sides. Ma Lin was possibly one of the first to use it successfully, Wang Hao, who we've seen here coaching, and now the 2 players in the top 10 in the world who are pen holders, Wong from China and Xu, they're 2 very good friends, practice together, but again both use that reverse backhand. Would you say that's essential now for the pen hold grip players?
It is. I mean, the game is so much quicker. I mean, years ago when you had the pen-hold player, they used the grip like a pendulum, whereas now they turn the wrist over and, as you said, you use the backhand side, so you've got rubber on both sides of the bat. And I think nowadays you've got to have a strong forehand and a strong backhand.
Both these players have a tremendous forehand topspin, but in particular when they play it from the backhand side of the table. So it's going to be interesting tactically. I suspect we're going to see them both get out wide to their opponent's forehand and then pin them down the backhand side, but we'll see how it goes. They'll have played each other in practice thousands of times. Interesting to note, Ma Long now has 25 consecutive wins at World Championships. That includes the World Team Championships as well. Interesting start.
Haven't seen anything like that before.
Hit the ball down onto the edge of the table, and therefore it flew up in the air. First point to Xu Xin. Into the reverse backhand topspin off the bounds, a very ambitious shot. 1 point to each. Xu Xin, of course, had a remarkable victory in the last 16. He beat his teammate Lin Gaoyan, came back from 10-5 down in the 7th, and at 10-6 had the controversial edge ball which went his way, and here he is in the semi-final. Maybe it's his year. Liu Guliang, the head coach of the Chinese team, obviously keeping an eye on the players as they get into the late 20s. Is it time to bring on the young players? Xu Xin will be looking to impress Liu Guliang, that's for sure.
You say there, Zhu's in, trying to get in with his forehand, and you see him running round there. His backhand side. Good angle on a diagonal.
Just threw it up with the reverse backhand there, just a little bit too much. Recently married, Xu Xin married Yao Yan last year. Yao Yan, of course, was a great player. She won the World Junior Circuit Finals back in 2016.
2006.
That would make her a very young bride if it was 2006. My apologies, 2006. She won the World Junior Circuit Finals, which will put her a similar age to Xu Xin. That's a trademark forehand topspin from Xu Xin, just coming round the backhand to play the forehand topspin. Went down the line, it's the shorter target. A little bit more difficult, he overhit it off the end of the table. A few errors at the beginning of this first game, but I'm sure they'll both settle down, find the range, and then we'll be in for some amazing rallies.
It's always going on service. They're both trying to serve tight, come in, but anything loose, then their opponent will step in. Ma Long now looking to use his serves. Good use of the table there. The players trying to get in with their forehand.
That's a great flick by Ma Long. He comes in with the racket slightly open, so you think he's going to touch it short, then at the last second he changes the angle and comes in with the flick. It's a great shot. The deception's exceptional.
Another great flick there from Zhu Xin this time. Sees the balls just very short. Pops up just slightly.
They always thought that was one of the advantages of the penhole grip, that the wrist is just that little bit looser. And Xu Xin certainly capitalised on that particular flick. The reverse backhand topspin from Xu Xin was exceptional, but Ma Lin was equal to it. 8-4. Just see that again. There's the reverse backhand topspin. but then he misses the follow-up behind it, steps round, and that's the one, just doesn't quite time that forehand topspin. 8-4, Marlong in the lead.
Oh, great angle there. Going up from the middle. Serve in third ball. And plays that one down the line.
Spraying the ball around the table. The world and Olympic champion Marlong. Topspin from Marlong there, just caught the top of the net, flicked the ball off the end of the table.
That was a great forehand there.
So quick on his feet. Just watch on the replay. Here he comes round the backhand. Even at full stretch, Marlong can't get his bat on the ball. Second serve coming up for Xu Xin. Just gives him a slight lifeline if he can win this point.
Touch the side.
This is a great topspin from Marlong. Cat and mouse here, both players keeping it tight over the net, but lets it drop, but goes down the line from that position. 4 game points for Marlong. And the return pops up and it is appropriately dispatched by the world champion. Marlong takes the first game, 11 points to 6. We'll be back shortly for the second game. Players now ready to start game number 2. Just looking at the match statistics, 67% of points won on service by Marlong. Probably the difference, less than 50% won by Xu Xin on his serves. Clearly that's an area that needs to be addressed by the world's number 3. Marlong just taking his time, composing himself. Started well. Great forehand topspin down the line. Excellent footwork. And then a bullet down the line.
Look how his body weight is right over the side of the table. He gets right the way around there.
That service, the ball just catching the top of the net. Flick just off the end of the table. Interesting to note, Marlong is one of 2 players to have won the men's singles at the World Championships, the Olympic Games, the World Cup and the World Tour Grand Finals. The only other player to have that distinction is Kong-Ling Hui. Just touched the edge of the table. Xu Xin now with a 2-1 lead. Ma Long there beat Timo Boll in the quarterfinals 4-2. Timo Boll put in a great performance. Pushed the world champion all the way. Could so easily have been 3 games apiece. Had we had a 7th and final? Who knows? But it wasn't to be.
But it's interesting that the 4 quarter-final matches, only Ma Long was pushed beyond 5 games, and that was against Timo Boll, where he won 4-2.
Xu Xin, of course, had a very interesting quarter-final. He's up against a 13-year-old. Quite remarkable, a Japanese 13-year-old boy, Harimoto, made the quarter-finals. Some 14 years younger than Xu Xin. But Xu Xin won 4-1. Didn't have it all his own way.
Oh, great forehand down the line. And you can see the ball veering off with side spin. Touch play again. As if he came round the side of the ball.
Just putting side spin on it, just take it out even wider to the left-hander's forehand.
Oh, great receive of serve there. Very spinny action. Backhand. Getting right over the ball. Very spinny.
Always putting energy into his shots. And again, exposing that wide to the forehand. A lot of players here are gambling. They're running around the backhand, setting themselves up, hoping the ball's going to come down to that side of the table, and they're waiting then with the forehand. But they're being caught out wide to the forehand. Good reverse backhand topspin from Xu Xin, using the reverse side, the backhand side of his racket. Plays with the black side on the forehand, the red side on the backhand.
Xu Xin just acknowledging his good fortune there.
Trademark Xu Xin, quick on his feet, forehand from the backhand side, straight down the line. There it goes. Completely exposed on the forehand side of the table, but there's no way that's coming back.
Oh, that was a great flick there. Put all his body into that. If it had come back, there was no chance of him getting back to the table. But it was a winner anyway.
Ma Long now with his 2 serves to come. Short serve, getting in with the first topspin. Interesting there, the assistant umpire just making sure Ma Long's not shielding the point of contact with the upper part of his body. Just asking him to be careful. And we were talking at the beginning, it's some tricky parts to the service rule. One part is that the opponent must be able to see the bat and ball on contact. You can't shield the point of contact using your body. The umpire just making sure Ma Long isn't using that left shoulder. He was ready this time.
He was. And that's a problem when you commit yourself playing a forehand on the backhand side. It does come back sometimes. Even at the speed Xu Xin hit that ball, Ma Long was able to block it back.
Former teammate of mine there in the crowd, Phil Bowen. Used to play for Lancashire together. Quite a few English supporters over here. Enjoying this amazing table tennis World Championships. Xu Xin 7-6 up, second serve in this sequence coming up. Good topspin into the body this time. He's done a few down the line. Watch this one, this time just there, straight into the chest.
Always a difficult position because you've got to decide to play a backhand or a forehand, and if it's going that fast it's even more difficult. Then back into the body. Malong now serving 6-9.
Going for the reverse backhand topspin. He wasn't sure whether the second bounce was coming over the baseline. Slightly hesitated. I think he just caught his racket on the table. So easy to rip the rubber if you catch it, particularly on the corner of the table. Just checking everything was okay. It obviously is. Important two serves coming up now for Xu Xin. It will be Ma Long who has his serves at the end of this second game.
It's a great forehand off the bounce. Xu Xin running around with his forehand, leaving the table exposed.
He just stays there now, hoping it's coming there, but look, Ma Long out wide to the forehand. The gamble didn't pay off. Big point. Ma Long will fancy himself at 9 each with his serves. 10-8 down, different story.
That footwork there, he was so quick to run round. And fast push.
And I don't think he gambled there. I think he waited. He anticipated at the last second. He's coming down the diagonal, whip round on his feet, and played that rocket down the line. Nearly 80 kilometers per hour. So now Ma Long with the slight advantage because he's got his serves to come. Again, just clever serving, slightly long, middle of the table, but that second bounce, is it on the baseline? Do I let it come over the baseline? Do I play it over the table? And that's 3 consecutive points for the world and Olympic champion and gives him a game point. And the backhand out wide on the diagonal wins the second game for Ma Long, 11-9. Came back from 9-7 down with 4 consecutive points. He now leads by 2-0 and will be back when the third game starts. 1 minute break in between games. No coaches, of course. It's China versus China. They choose not to coach in this scenario. So Ma Long now 2-0 in the lead. 5 consecutive points at the end of that second game. 9-6 down. Came back to win 11-9. It's love all, third game. Again, excellent footwork from Xu Xin. Just looking at the statistics at the interval there, the analysis of the second game, Xu Xin improved points won with his serve, but he was still only 50%. He just needs to be winning more points with the serve. Xu Xin winning most of his points down the middle part of the table. Ma Long tending to win on the angles, but he's very clever on the angles. He goes into the backhand or wide to the forehand and then gets down the other corner. That's a good flick. Steps round, but the flick is just that little bit too quick.
Ma Long there, taking the balls just slightly later, spinning it up, changing the pace.
(3-2), Ma Long. Good topspins from Xu Xin. We've certainly enjoyed a wonderful World Table Tennis Championships here in Dusseldorf. Over 600 athletes taking part from over 100 nations. 50,000 spectators have walked through the doors. Plays taken place in 3 exhibition halls using 50,000 square meters. And interesting to note, it's the first time that we've used a black surface on the tables. Quick on his feet, rocket topspin from Xu Xin.
Unlucky there. Apologising.
That's the danger of playing the forehand from the backhand side. Unless it's a winner, you just leave yourself exposed out wide on the forehand. And that block from Xu Xin was right in the corner. This down, Ma Long staying with the backhand on the backhand side. A lot of people talk about Ma Long's forehand topspin being so powerful, but his backhand's right up there. It's one of the best in the world. Xu Xin gambling again, staying out wide with the forehand on the backhand side, gambling that Ma Long will come into the backhand, but he didn't. He went out wide to the forehand. Seen that a lot more of these championships, Jill. Players gambling, running round blind. They don't know the ball's coming there. They're gambling, hoping it'll come down the backhand side, and they're there waiting for it with their forehand.
Yeah, there's lots of players are doing that and committing themselves and running round on their backhands to play a forehand. But as we said earlier, you know, it does expose the rest of the table unless it's a really fast rocket forehand.
You can see there how 40% on one of the angles, 20% on the other. Not quite so much there.
Ma Long seems to be playing more on the angles. Xu Xin playing some into the body of Ma Long.
Backhand to backhand down the line. Neither player there taking the chance to run round, play the forehand.
Oh, that was a great rally there. And you see the angle that Ma Long got with his backhand. That strong forehand there, and down the line.
It was the backhand you mentioned, Jill, that set up that forehand topspin to win the point, but he also put somehow a little bit of side spin on the ball, so it curved out even wider. Xu Xin's nickname is the Anaconda, and you can see why. He can stretch. He's long and wiry. Fantastic footwork. Again there, Xu Xin in with the first topspin. If he puts Ma Long under pressure, gets in first, and still in with a very good chance. 7-8. Xu Xin with the second serve in this sequence.
Yeah, Xu Xin then got in. And Ma Long under pressure there now, 8-all. With Ma Long serve to come.
Interesting there, the returner serve from Ma Long was out wide to the Xu Xin forehand. Next ball would probably have gone into the backhand. That was one on the returner serve by Xu Xin. What a great reverse backhand topspin. Then he steps round, plays a very powerful forehand topspin. Great combination of backhand and forehand topspin. Again, it's that wide ball to the forehand that wins the point. It's amazing you're playing a player who's arguably got one of the best forehands in the world, and yet there wide to the forehand is a good place to place the ball. So business end of the third game. Have to say this is a must-win for Xu Xin. Ma Long 3-0 up. A mountain to climb then for Xu Xin. 2-1. Game on. So 2 big points now. Xu Xin with the serve. Slight advantage for the penholder.
fantastic flick, but can't believe Marlon actually got to that ball.
That's truly world class. That flick against anybody else was a winner. Xu Xin can't believe it. Game point. Marlon for a 3-0 lead. The crowd really appreciating some fine table tennis here in Dusseldorf. That topspin down the line into the backhand. And again, when the pressure's on at the business end, it's Marlon who steps forward. He wins the third game, 11-9. He leads by 3-0, and we'll be back for the fourth game. And the play's now back for the fourth game. A mountain to climb now for Xu Xin. He's 3-0 down against Marlon, the #1 player in the world, the #1 seed, Olympic and world champion, defending his title. It's going to be difficult now for Xu Xin, Jill, to come back.
Well, 3-0 down, but never say never. Don't you remember that Zhu Xin came back from 5-10 down in the 7th game to beat Lin Gao Yuan in round of 16? So you can't write him off yet.
Just overhitting the forehand topspin. Just wonder if he can lift himself now, Xu Xin. Marlon, certainly with the momentum. Marlon first appeared on the scene, really, back in 2003 at the World Junior Championships in Santiago. He lost in the quarterfinals.
I think we've got a timeout here. Zhu Xin taking the timeout. This fourth game, 3-0 down, to try and compose himself.
I think that was a good idea by Xu Xin. 3-0 down in games. He's lost the last two games, the second and the third, 11-9. He was 9-6 up in the second game, lost 5 consecutive points, 9-all in the third game. He had his serves. He's had 2 good chances in the second game and the third game, but finds himself 3-0 down. And then we come out for the fourth game and he loses the first 3 points. And that's the standard of play that we've been privileged to watch in this semi-final. The world's #1 against the world's #3. 8,000 spectators, a sellout.
And I think the spectators are really enjoying this display of table tennis. Table tennis at its best.
Second serve in this sequence for Marlon. Marlon winning the short touch play rally. These two players have this remarkable ability to have super soft hands and delicate touch play over the table, reading the spin, keeping it tight, and then both explode with enormous power when they topspin. And there we saw that first rally, does a short touch shot, and then you see a forehand return of service like that. One extreme to the other.
Absolutely superb. Takes the ball so early, but he's quite a few points up now, so he perhaps relax and go for his shots.
They say that once he gets 3 points up on his opponent, that he's impossible to beat. It certainly looks the case here. He got off to a good start. We had a timeout at 3-love called by Xu Xin. We've come back and Ma Long takes the first 3 points again. Great short play by Xu Xin. Took it early, pushed it tight over the net. And Ma Long's called a timeout. He's lost 2 points on the run. He knows he's in a winning position here at 6-2. Slightly worried the momentum's changing slightly to Xu Xin, so why not use the timeout now when you've got a 4-2 lead. You can see there 45% short to the middle of the table. That's an interesting statistic. A lot of short play, delicate touch shots that we were talking about. Likewise with Xu Xin, 68% short to the middle of the table. So Ma Long will just be composing himself. Some youngsters in the crowd, champions of the future maybe, who knows? Mum and Dad are certainly enjoying the table tennis.
He didn't look particularly happy though, did he?
Must be quite strange with all this loud noise and cheers and clapping, and even though we've got China versus China, the crowd are really into this semi-final. I think because the standard of play is so high, and we're seeing quite simply some amazing shots.
A good serve in with that third ball, straight into the middle of Ma Long. You see it here, he pushed it long with a lot of backspin. Able to run round and play that fast topspin into the middle.
He's just on his way back, and then he serves into the net. Not sure what Ma Long raised his hand for, probably to say thank you. 7-3, Ma Long in the lead. 2 serves to come. Pinned him down the backhand side of the table. Have to say here, I do feel that the German Table Tennis Association, the Deutsche Tischtennisbund, and the ITTF, International Table Tennis Federation, have worked quite superbly together to stage these World Championships. Again, they've raised the bar. It's been a great tournament. outstanding organisation, and a credit to both of those organisations.
Oh, you don't see many rallies like that. Ball going all round the table, top spin to top spin. Fast footwork. Placement wide down the line.
That's the second backhand he hit while he was actually running at the same time. 9-3. Marlon 2 points away from a place in the final of the men's singles. And the flick off the end of the table. The writing is on the wall. 7 match points. For Marlon. Great effort by Xu Xin, great entertainment. The crowd have been rooted to their seats. And there's that topspin off the bounce, steps in, trademark topspin from Marlon. He wins the fourth game 11-3. And he wins this semi-final by 4 games to 0. Acknowledges the crowd. Nobody left their seats. Such was the entertainment value of this semi-final. But there he is, the current Olympic and world champion, well on his way now to defending his title. 26 consecutive wins in world championships, an amazing record. Confirmation on the screen there. It's Marlon who we'll see in the men's singles final.
It's the last day here of the Leap Year 2017 World Table Tennis Championships in Dusseldorf, and we've just got underway with the men's singles semi-final, and it's this man who goes through to the final. It's Marlon! Marlon, I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words. You're coming out as the Olympic champion, world champion already. It's so fast. You're playing such a high level. Are you getting better and better and better and better?
你已经赢了很多次，然后呢，现在一有不停的赢，打得非常快。你是不是感觉自己的状态越来越好？
其实从前一段自己状态并不是很好，然后来这儿比赛呢，我觉得队友跟教练还是给了我很多的鼓励，然后到目前为止自己越打越好。当然今天对自己的队友许昕，你必须打出120%的水平，你才有可能获胜。所以说今天我觉得打得非常好吧。
He says that at the beginning his condition wasn't really the best and he was a bit worried, but while he was playing he was, sort of finding himself and finding his condition, and he feels like a lot of that credit is due to his teammates and his coach. Another thing is that Xu Xin had to play his 120% best in order to have a chance at winning.
Well, it was an impressive performance. Malong, you are the Olympic champion from Rio de Janeiro. You did win the World Championships in Suzhou 2 years ago. How special would it be to win your second World Men's Singles title here in Germany?
你已经在苏州赢了，也在里约赢了，感觉在德国赢会有什么特别的吗？
其实自己并没有想到去在哪儿赢嘛，自己只是去享受这样的比赛。当然，这次比赛也是想自己的职业生涯能够尽可能努力，看看自己有多少种可能。
He says that he doesn't really care where he's winning, and he just really wants to enjoy the competition, be in the moment, and he hopes that this can further his professional career and make himself better.
Perfekt, perfekt. Also das war Wahnsinn heute Morgen von Malong. Through to the final, ladies and gentlemen, Malong! And we have 2 signed balls from Malong, so we'll hit the 2 balls into the fans. 2 balls from Malong. Who wants a signed ball? Sie haben 2 Bälle mit Unterschrift von Malong und jetzt geht's los.